Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome to episode 25 of 10-minute Taraweeh. Here we are in juz number 25 and we're beginning with Surah Ash-Shura, which is then followed by 3 other surahs inshaAllah. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Hamim. Ayn Sin Qaf. كذلك يوحي إليك وإلى الذين من قبلك الله العزيز الحكيم. This surah begins by mentioning that the Prophet ﷺ has received revelation as have those before him among the messengers. And in verse 13 this is further emphasized that there is one path, and so we as believers are also to stay united upon these essential teachings. شرع لكم من الدين ما وصى به نوحا والذي أوحينا إليك وما وصينا به إبراهيم وموسى وعيسى أن أقيموا الدين ولا تتفرقوا فيه. So we are to establish the religion and not differ and dispute. The surah mentions a number of matters before coming to the description of this ummah, as in verse 37. A number of things are mentioned about this nation. وَالَّذِينَ يَجْتَنِبُونَ كَبَائِرَ الْإِثْمِ وَالْفَوَاحِشَ وَإِذَا مَا غَضِبُوا هُمْ يَغْفِرُونَ وَالَّذِينَ اسْتَجَابُوا لِرَبِّهِمْ وَأَقَامُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَأَمْرُهُمْ شُورَى بَيْنَهُمْ وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ. So among the things that's mentioned is staying away from major sins and evils and immoralities, and to be forgiving, to respond to the call of the Lord, to establish the prayer, and to have shura between us. After this, of course, the surah is named, to have consultation, to consult one another, and to have this cooperative attitude to society. وَالَّذِينَ إِذَا أَصَابَهُمُ الْبَغْيُ هُمْ يَنْتَصِرُونَ. In responding to aggression, of course, they have the right to respond in kind, but at the same time, emphasis is placed here upon being patient, being forgiving, and especially in verse 43, وَلَمَنْ صَبَرَ وَغَفَرَ إِنَّ ذَلِكَ لَمِنْ عَزْمِ الْأُمُورِ. And this patience and this forgiveness is a tremendous matter. It doesn't come easily, but it is something which is great in reward. The end of this surah mentions among the descriptions of the Quran is that it is a ruh, a soul, a spirit, which breathes life into individuals and breathes life into societies. وَكَذَلِكَ أَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْكَ رُوحًا مِّنْ أَمْرِنَا ما كنت تدري ما الكتاب ولا الإيمان ولكن جعلناه نورا نهدي به من نشاء من عبادنا وإنك لتهدي إلى صراط مستقيم. So it is ruh and it is also nur, it is a light which penetrates into the darkness. This is followed by Surah Az-Zukhruf. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم حميم والكتاب المبين إنا جعلناه قرآنا عربيا لعلكم تعقلون. So this surah begins again with mention of the lofty status of the Quran, and it contains among other things a dispraise of taqleed, and this is the blind following of those who have come before. And a number of stories are given of Ibrahim alayhi salam, of Musa alayhi salam, of Isa alayhi salam, and how their people turned against them, how they were mocked and rejected. In verse 23, وَكَذَلِكَ مَا أَرْسَلْنَا مِن قَبْلِكَ فِي قَرْيَةٍ مِّن نَذِيرٍ إِلَّا قَالَ مُتْرَفُوهَا إِنَّا وَجَدْنَا آبَاءَنَا عَلَى أُمَّةٍ وَإِنَّا عَلَى آثَارِهِمْ مُقْتَدُونَ. So their statement is that we are following the way of our fathers. And even in this statement, as you see the preceding verse, they are copying the statement of their fathers and those who went before. But those who mock and turn against the messengers and against the truth, will meet their deeds, and they will meet the result of their mockery and how it will be thrown back on them on the Day of Judgment. At the end of this surah, verse 83, فَذَرْهُمْ يَخُوضُوا وَيَلْعَبُوا حَتَّى يُلَاقُوا يَوْمَهُمُ الَّذِي يُوعَدُونَ وَهُوَ الَّذِي فِي السَّمَاءِ إِلَٰهٌ وَفِي الْأَرْضِ إِلَٰهٌ وَهُوَ الْحَكِيمُ الْعَلِيمُ. But Allah is the one who is the God of this universe. He is the one worshipped in the heavens. He is the one worshipped upon earth by all those who are of sound mind and heart. وَتَبَارَكَ الَّذِي لَهُ مُلْكُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَمَا بَيْنَهُمَا وَعِنْدَهُ عِلْمُ السَّاعَةِ وَإِلَيْهِ تُرْجَعُونَ. And He alone knows when that hour will come, the Day of Judgment, when all will be returned to Him. This is followed by Surah Ad-Dukhan, which is surah number 44 of the Quran, beginning Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. حاميم والكتاب المبين إنا أنزلناه في ليلة مباركة إنا كنا منذرين. So clearly there are a sequence of surahs here which are known as the Hawamim, those which begin with Hamim. And here there's a mention of the Quran being revealed in a blessed night. So this blessed night, of course, is that one which has a whole surah named after it, which is Laylatul Qadr, the night of power. And this was the beginning of things. This was the coming of the Quran and the coming of all this guidance. The revelation of the Quran from the preserved tablet to the lowest heaven in preparation for it being revealed piece by piece to the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And verse 10 mentions the Dukhan, or the smoke, after which the surah is named. فَارْتَقِبْ يَوْمَ تَأْتِي السَّمَاءُ بِدُخَانٍ مُبِينٍ. And the commentators generally identify this with an incident which took place in the life of the Prophet ﷺ, where he made dua against his people when they were in Medina. So a smoke covered over the people in Mecca. And this is discussed, of course, in the books of commentary. When we come to verse 25, there are some verses here concerning Musa and the Pharaoh, and how the people of the Pharaoh, when they were destroyed, they left behind them many riches, but they left behind them an evil legacy. كَمْ تَرَكُوا مِنْ جَنَّاتٍ وَعُيُونٍ وَزُرُوعٍ وَمَقَامٍ كَرِيمٍ وَنَعْمَةٍ كَانُوا فِيهَا فَاكِهِينَ كَذَلِكَ وَأَوْرَثْنَاهَا قَوْمًا آخَرِينَ. So it was inherited by the followers of Musa. فَمَا بَكَتْ عَلَيْهِمُ السَّمَاءُ وَالْأَرْضُ وَمَا كَانُوا مُنظَرِينَ. So neither the heaven nor the earth shed tears over the passing of those arrogant people from the creation. For indeed, they never made dua such that their prayers would ascend into the sky, nor did they prostrate themselves upon the earth. Now we should ask ourselves, would the sky and would the earth miss us and miss our legacy once we have passed from this life? The following surah is Surah Al-Jathiyah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Hamim. تنزيل الكتاب من الله العزيز الحكيم إن في السماوات والأرض لآيات للمؤمنين. So this surah begins by mentioning ayat, mentioning signs, those signs which are for the believers, those which are for those people who have certainty, those people who use their reason. And those ayat are spread all throughout creation. And also the other meaning of ayat, of course, are what are known as the verses of the book. تِلْكَ آيَاتُ اللَّهِ نَتْلُوهَا عَلَيْكَ بِالْحَقِّ فَبِأَيِّ حَدِيثٍ بَعْدَ اللَّهِ وَآيَاتِهِ يُؤْمِنُونَ. So there is a correspondence and a relationship between the ayat in the book and the ayat in creation. And this surah discusses the positions of a number of those who turned away from the message of Tawheed. And in verse 23, it raises a question for us now about what is known as atheism. Atheism as having no God. is there really such a case that somebody has no God whatsoever, or is it the case that we always are turning towards some type of God or making something into God? And in verse 23 it mentions those who make their desires their God. أَفَرَأَيْتَ مَنِ اتَّخَذَ إِلَهَهُ هَوَاهُ وَأَضَلَّهُ اللَّهُ عَلَى عِلْمٍ وَخَتَمَ عَلَى سَمْعِهِ وَقَلْبِهِ. So there are those who are misguided despite their knowledge. So it is not necessarily from ignorance of all things, but an ignorance of how that knowledge should lead them to belief in the Creator and in the hereafter. There are those who say that nothing would destroy us except time. So in a sense they have made time and the passage of time as a kind of God. وَقَالُوا مَا هِيَ إِلَّا حَيَاتُنَا الدُّنْيَا نَمُوتُ وَنَحْيَا وَمَا يُهْلِكُنَا إِلَّا الدَّهْرُ. So nothing will destroy us except time. This is like materialism, and a sense that there is nothing in existence except that which can be perceived. Then there's also something which we can identify in some way with agnosticism in verse 32, that there are those who know that there is nothing known to them about what happens after death, that they can only use guesswork, and yet they do not want to accept the truth of resurrection. وَإِذَا قِيلَ إِنَّ وَعْدَ اللَّهِ حَقٌّ وَالسَّاعَةُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهَا قُلْتُمْ مَا نَدْرِي مَا السَّاعَةُ إِنَّ نَظُنُّ إِلَّا ظَنًّا. So they say we are only in a matter of guesswork and speculation. وَمَا نَحْنُ بِمُسْتَيْقِنِينَ. But we have no way of attaining to certainty in this. وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.